Well, hope you're making your plans now because we want you to be a part of our studio audience. Great time for all. Book your seat by visiting WBOC.com and clicking on our picture at the top of the page, or call that number right there, 443-880-9116. You know, I remember when I was a kid and watching all the science fiction movies and the TV shows where the family would sit down for dinner and they'd all have their pill.
That was their dinner.
And that was their meal. That was the entire meal right there. It turns out that people who made those movies and TV shows were wrong. As a matter of fact, the food of the future actually is starting to make a turn to the past.
That's right. That's because more people are demanding fresh, unaltered food, and the farm-to-table movement is fueling that demand. Well, one chef is taking that movement one step forward. You see, with farm-to-table, the people decide what they want from the farm. He says we need to let the farm dictate what we eat.
4 bundle, 4 Julio, 4 egg, 4 duck, and ending 4 pig.
Yes! Inside this kitchen, Chef Dan Barber calls out orders.
2 halibut.
Not based on what diners requested, but based on what the farm harvested that day.
We have no menus here. There's been a lot of pushback for a menu, and people are paying a lot of money, and they're waiting 2 months to come here tonight. So I see that. What I'm shocked about is the equal number of people who come here and say, oh, there's no menu? Oh, thank God. I don't have to decide.
The restaurant deliberately avoids giving out menus, instead allowing the farm supplying the kitchen to dictate the meal.
It's all about working with nature instead of imposing our diets on nature and expecting that nature will produce what we want.
Barber recently wrote The Third Plate, Field Notes on the Future of Food, a food manifesto calling for major changes in the American diet and how that food is grown. So what does he mean by third plate?
It's a metaphor for a way of eating for the future, is a radical relook at our expectations.
Instead of typical American dinner, where the protein takes center stage, Barber asks Americans to make vegetables the main act.
I don't love the angle of the American diet needs to be more healthy, because what's the definition of health? I don't know. I don't exactly. I know it's less sugar, I guess, and probably a little less fat, but really it's about what does the landscape want to provide and how can our diets be fashioned to support that.
Barber implements the third plate mentality at his 2 restaurants. Barber grew up on a farm. Locally grown to him means cooking with produce grown outside the kitchen door, guaranteeing the highest level of nutrition and, of course, flavor. He says this time of year, peas best illustrate what he's talking about.
I tasted the first flush from this farm. I was just like, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. I've been munching on them all morning. But I'm so excited about this lowly pea.
His methods of farming extend beyond the pea to the pig. All his animals are raised humanely on this farm. His chickens are free range.
Free range. Actually, more than free, they're freer than me and you. Yeah, they like the freedom. They get to eat what they want to eat, and it produces a better tasting yolk.
For him, the soil is sacred, which means the all-stars of summer produce, tomatoes and corn, rarely earn a spot on Barber's ideal dinner plate. They require too much fertilizer and deplete the land.
If you think of soil as a bank account and you're eating a tomato is like the Hummer of the vegetable and fruit world. And everything we eat, wheat, corn, rice, the ones we really covet, these are the most expensive. These are the big withdrawals from the bank account.
Sustainability may be an investment, but the payoff is in flavor and the future.
The way to convince Americans that the future is going to be different for a plate of food is through a delicious plate of food. I put my money in the idea that people are going to be motivated to spend a little bit more money, potentially, spend a little bit more time. Sure, we're looking at more diversity, more flavor, more potential for more nutritious and delicious food. That's exciting.
The Third Plate, Field Notes on the Future of Food, can be found in most bookstores. It can also be purchased as an ebook from Amazon or Barnes & Noble.
How about that? Well, if you are looking for farm fresh food, you can certainly find it at the farmers markets on Delmarva. Today we're visiting one of them in Salisbury, and you're going to see what makes it stand out from a traditional grocery store.
And you'll want to head to the farmers market to pick up the fresh produce. In today's recipe, we're whipping up a tasty broccoli salad. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.